Hello, Milwaukee. This is President Barack Obama, urging each of you to get out and vote on Election Day. This year's elections are too important to sit out or stay on the sideline. This election isn't about one vote or one party, it's about your future. Time to get out there and shape it and fight for it. If you do, then together we can continue to move our country forward. So go to the poll, cast your ballot. You can make a real impact.
You can make an impact, Bailey.
You absolutely can make an impact, Reggie Brown.
Yes, it's Reggie Brown with Bailey Coleman. We're back. We have to stop the music for at least 30 minutes to talk about the importance of this election.
Yes. There's a lot at stake. That's what I keep hearing people say.
Yes.
So we'll have a lot of special guests on today. Mm-hmm. You just heard President Barack Obama came through and did that special public service announcement for all of you and your people.
Yes.
Plus, we will have the candidate for Vice President of the United States. We'll talk with Senator Kamala Harris. We'll talk with Stacey Abrams. She is now with an organization called Fair Fight.
Okay.
And we have also a special guest online right now.
Killer Mike, he's going to be on as well.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot Killer Mike.
Killer Mike is
I'm only thinking about my peeps. But
yes. But locally, our special guest is the Executive Director of the Milwaukee Elections Commission. And I've been seeing her on TV. I know she's quite busy.
She's
right
very
now.
busy.
Miss Claire Woodall-Vogg. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Did I say your name right?
My husband will say that it's Vogue, but I will not tell anyone. I thought it was Vogue the first year that we dated, so I'm not one to correct.
That's good. Okay, Vogue. We'll go with Vogue. I like that better. Yes. How you doing today?
I am good. We're in the midst of early voting and really busy here in Milwaukee.
Yes, I can imagine. And there's a lot of questions that we have for you. And people want to know these things about voting. And Bailey, you want to take the helm?
Well, first of all, how important is it to early vote? Now, I've heard it's not so important. You can show up on the day. You can do all kinds of things. You can register and vote today, tomorrow. Give us the rundown on voting in general.
Yeah, so voters have options. It's not too late to request an absentee ballot. Mm-hmm. If you're living locally, it takes about 3 to 4 days for that to arrive. But we also have early voting that has begun at 14 sites across the city. They have varying hours, so you definitely want to go to our website at milwaukee.gov/414votes in order to see the schedule. But then we're lucky. We live in a state here in Wisconsin where it's never too late to decide to go vote. We do have Election Day voter registration. So if you've moved since the last time you've voted or you haven't voted before, you'll need to register, and you can still do that all the way up through November 3rd at the polling place.
Okay.
So if you decide to register and vote on the same day, or you want to go in and register and vote now, what exactly do you need? Because you used to be able to bring a piece of mail to prove who you were and what is it now? What are the requirements now?
Yeah, so Wisconsin requires that you have a photo ID. That ID does not have to have your current address. So if you have a Wisconsin driver's license or state ID card, a passport, it doesn't matter the address on your ID, but if you need to do an address change or register, you'll need to bring proof of your address in addition to your photo ID. So proof of address documents include a utility bill, cell phone bill, bank statement, paycheck, direct deposit statement, a lease. And it's important that voters know they can show that on their phone. You don't need access to a printer in order to register to vote. You can show it to the election worker on your phone if you're paying those bills online.
Okay. So what if you have an ID but it's not valid? It's expired.
It's expired, so if it expired after the last general election, which was November of 2018, you can still use it. If it's expired before then, you can actually renew your license online or go to a DMV, and they'll give you a receipt in order to vote. And state ID cards, if you mark on the box that you're getting it for voting, it is 100% free.
Wow, that's good to know. I have someone that's turning 18 on the 4th. Can they vote?
No, unfortunately, you have to turn 18 on November 3rd or sooner.
Okay.
And if your birthday is this week, or maybe your birthday is on November 3rd, you can still register and vote early. We do get that question sometimes as well.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. Now, let me ask you this. Who cannot vote?
So I think it's easier if I tell you who can vote. So you have to be 18 on Election Day. You have to be a U.S. citizen. You cannot be serving a sentence for a felony conviction.
Okay.
So in Wisconsin, and this is important because there's a lot of confusion, if you are off paper, you are able to vote. All you need to do is register. If you are on paper but for a misdemeanor violation, you are still eligible.
Mm-hmm.
So only if you're still serving a sentence for a felony, that includes being on probation or parole, that you can't vote. But in Wisconsin, your voting rights are automatically restored after you complete your sentence. And so all you need to do is show up, register, and vote.
Wow. Wow, that's very, very helpful. That is very helpful. Okay, because I know there's people. I was on a Zoom call, and people wanted to know if they can vote if they were, felons, if they're done with their serving their time, and they want to know if they still can vote.
Yep, and if they are done serving their time, they are able to. And in some states, you have to petition to have your rights restored, but it's automatic in Wisconsin. All you need to do is register.
Okay. That helps us out.
So if you show up at the polls and the election workers cannot find your registration, but you've registered, you're a registered voter because you voted in the last election. But if they can't find it, should you re-register, or what should happen?
So the workers should make sure that you are first in the correct spot. So you vote on Election Day based on your address in your specific ward. So if you go to Milwaukee.gov/414votes, you can look up your polling place to make sure that you're in the right spot. So that's 9 times out of 10, we just see that voters aren't at the correct polling place. The election workers can also call our office directly. It could be that we've misspelled your name, or maybe that your mail came back to us as undeliverable. So we can handle that over the phone. But as a last resort, we would have you re-register.
Okay.
But you can always ask the election worker to call the office to make sure. And you can also check ahead of time by going to myvote.wi.gov to confirm that you're registered and to confirm that polling place.
Okay. What's the biggest piece of advice you would give to someone that's going to vote? This may be their first time, but they're going out to vote, and they're going to vote early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think having patience and making sure you have what you need before you head out. So make sure you have your photo ID with you. If you need to update your address or register and your photo ID isn't current with your current address, bringing another proof of address document. But then just having patience once you get there. We've seen that the lines have really died down from last week as our election workers have made some improvements, and we've increased some space at the polling places. But, we have frontline workers who are out there really, trying to get their job done and wanting to make sure that they're doing it accurately. So it might take you 15 or 20 minutes, but it's taking that long to make sure that your vote counts and that we've done everything correctly on our end.
Okay. So will you be turned away if you don't have a mask?
Yeah, so voters should plan to wear a mask. Otherwise, we're happy to help voters at the entrance of the polling places if they aren't wearing a mask. If you don't have a mask, our election workers have plenty of masks to offer to anyone who shows up without one, so in case you forget. But we do ask that all voters wear a mask for the safety of our workers and for other voters.
That's good to know.
That is great to know.
That's good to know. Another thing now, with the early voting, can a person go anywhere in the city and early vote?
Yes, so we have 14 early voting locations. You can choose any of them, no matter where you live, if you live in the city of Milwaukee.
Okay.
And one more time, because you mentioned earlier where they could find out where the early voting is going on. What is the web address that they can go to as well for early voting?
Yep, it's Milwaukee.gov vote/414-VOTES. And that's our website where it'll also tell you what to bring if you need to get registered, photo ID, and then you can also see which sites have been the busiest and which ones aren't quite as busy if you're trying to decide which site might be the best spot for you.
Okay. Bailey voted already. She
I
voted
did vote.
early.
I
Yes.
did vote. I voted on the library on Good Hope Road. On
Right.
77th and Good Hope, yeah. My son and I went out, and one of his friends, and we stood out there, had a good time. We entertained ourselves and waited in line, and it didn't take too long. You know, we had a great time. We went in, you know, we voted, we did our thing, and you know, I that's how I actually had the question of the if they can't find you when you go in to vote, because that happened to my son. I was like, whoa, what's going on? You know, and he has a hyphenated last name. He got a long first name with hyphens and all kinds of stuff. And I said, just go, because the poll worker was like, well, we'll just re-register him. It'll be fine. It's not going to take long. It'll just take a minute. So it did just take a couple minutes, and he re-registered, and everything was good. You know, it was I really appreciate it. Shout out to all the poll workers.
Yes.
You know, and especially the ones on 77th and Good Hope, because you know what? They were really nice. They thanked everybody for waiting, and we got in. And once you get in, it's quick. It's super quick, you know, especially if you know who you're voting for. So there you go.
Yeah. Are you still looking for poll workers to work?
No, so we are actually in great shape with poll workers. We finished trainings last week, and we have over 3,000 poll workers assigned to work next Tuesday. And we'd normally, in a normal presidential election, only have 2,400. So we are in great shape.
Wow.
Okay, that's good. I like to vote on Election Day. I don't know what it is, but I like to vote on Election Day.
I got to shout out to my regular poll workers and tell them I'm not going to be there, ladies, but you know I love you, and I voted early, so they're probably like, yeah, okay.
Yes. That's amazing. Any other questions, Bells?
No, I'm good. She answered every one of my questions.
She did, yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I just say, if you're planning to go vote on Election Day, we're going to have 173 sites open, and over half of our registered voters will have already voted. So we aren't expecting long lines, and you should still have a safe experience on Tuesday when you go to vote on Election Day.
Okay. I hear that you can't have any T-shirts that with the candidates on it or anything. Is that true?
That is true. So we ask that you leave your pens, your T-shirts at home. If you have a mask, we'll ask you to remove it and put on a neutral mask. You shouldn't wear anything with candidates on it when you go vote.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And Reggie, we have more guests ready to go.
Yes, we do. You ready?
Yep.
All right.
We got a chance to talk with former governor for the state of Georgia, none other than Stacey Abrams. And Stacey had a lot of advice for us on voting here in Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, she worked on the last election here to make sure that everything went safe. So without further ado, let's talk with Stacey Abrams.
Bailey, thanks for having me.
Stacey, now everyone was rooting for you when you were running for governor of Georgia. I mean, if I could have transplanted myself there just so I could vote for you, I would have done it. So after the loss that you took in the race, you started your own organization. Can you tell us about your organization?
Certainly. Fair Fight Action and Fair Fight 2020. We've been working through Georgia and actually across the country, including in Wisconsin, to ensure that what happened to Georgia voters in 2018 doesn't happen again. I may have lost the election, but we know voter suppression made certain that thousands of Georgia voters were not heard. And in the United States, no one has the right to block an eligible voter from being heard. So my mission is to make sure that we have a fair fight in our elections in Georgia and around the country, including in my home state of Wisconsin, which is where I was born.
Right.
Yes, born in Madison.
Yes, Madison, Wisconsin. So you definitely have roots here. And I know you've heard about all of the controversy that went on with the last primary election, where even during the pandemic, they forced mostly people on the sides of town that had mostly people of color, Hispanic and African American. They forced us to go out and vote in person and close most of the precincts, so there were only a few places that you could actually go and vote. But we went out and stood in line. I'm one of the thousands of people that went out and stood in line to vote and took that chance, because you know what, they can't stop me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So Fair Fight, we were actually working hand in hand with the Wisconsin Democratic Party to make certain that you all had the right to vote. And because of the work that we did with you all in that state, we, as you saw, they tried to stop you, but you showed up, you showed out, you changed the composition of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And we know that if we vote, if we use our power, we will see progress. And we need to make certain that across the country, but starting in Wisconsin, that we start to move forward again. And that means we need people to not panic. And I know Wisconsinites know better than to panic after what happened to you in April. But we can't panic when there's terrible court decisions, when the rules change. We just have to remember, don't panic and don't delay.
There you go.
Vote early. In Wisconsin, you are among the first to move our country forward.
Yes.
So you can vote by mail. You can vote either by mailing your ballot back or returning it to a drop box. And, of course, you can vote at your polling place. But I like to think of Election Day as last call. We need to think of this as an election season, and we need to get our votes in as early as possible, because we know they keep trying to change the rules. So let's get in there early, get our votes locked down.
And she did a shout out, so I had to cut Stacey off.
There you go.
She did a shout out to one of the candidates we're going to talk to in a few minutes. So
yes, but what she said was real important.
Yes,
mom, dad, we need to get our kids, our 18-year-olds out there and vote. Take them with you.
That's what I'm saying. From before day one, I took Kendall to the polls with me to vote, because I felt like it was important to train him up that way.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you go vote, whether it's for the, just somebody here, somebody local, or whether it's a national election. Your vote is your voice.
That's right.
You got to do that, because then you can't complain about things that, aren't, going right in your world, as far as things that affect your life, that if someone is responsible as the representative for you in our government.
That's right. I talked to Michael Bivens of Belle Biv DeVoe New Edition, and he said, fellas, we know we normally let the ladies do this, and we sit back and we chill and we do whatever, but we got to go vote this time.
Yeah.
It's real important.
Absolutely.
It is real important. I also talked to Killer Mike, and bank CEO, one half of RTJ, Run the Jewels. He's a political activist as well. I got him on the phone. Killer Mike.
How you doing, man? I'm also a business person. They don't let me sign Killer Mike with contracts that make me say Michael Linder. So I don't want people to be remiss and think I only sing and dance and protest. I also handle business on a daily basis.
Yes, you sure do. And congratulations on the launch of Greenwood Bank, bankgreenwood.com. It's a full-service bank in your hand. But can we get political for a minute?
Yeah, what's up? Talk to me.
Big election November 3rd coming up, and I know your guy Bernie Sanders isn't in.
A lot of his ideas got in. I don't think we would have got the stimulus package or that we got if it wasn't for his campaign. I don't think people would be talking about health care, where we see the legalization of marijuana and young progressives on the ground get elected, like Fonnie Willis, the new Fulton County District Attorney in Atlanta, and formerly Mayor Ted, now Commissioner Ted out in DeKalb County. So overall, progressives are winning, even where our national guy did.
Okay, that's all good. So what are your thoughts, Killer Mike, on this election, man? Why should people get out there and vote?
Because you should get out and vote for the two reasons I just named. Although my national guy is not winning, or did not win, I don't have a dog in the national fight, my local people dominated. Fonnie Willis, man, she whooped butt and took that DA's office. Well, what does that matter? You'll often hear me shout out the Gary Davis Next Level Boys Academy. That academy saves boys from doing years and years and years in jail. In its inception, it was helped to get started by Fonnie Willis, because she's about not only sending people to jail or justice, she's about restorative justice and making sure that we help to build strong children so we don't have to repair broken men. Because of her support of that org, that's what has me on our transition team today and in support of her. So in the progressive manner, we have a DA that we deserve now. If you look out in DeKalb County, Mayor Ted was years ahead of time in terms of decriminalizing marijuana. Mm-hmm. So if you went to Strokers, you didn't worry about catching marijuana charges in Atlanta, you might have. So I'd like to say he was progressive enough to do that. So putting him in the largest commission seat in DeKalb County is going to make for a more progressive county. So those reasons, because locally, even though my national guy Sanders didn't win, his policy has been elected on the local level.
Okay.
So local. Tasman Figaro, who has a new show, Straight Shot No Chaser, coming on iHeartRadio, Charlemagne network.
Right.
She talks often about voting down ballot. Don't only know the soap opera of which teams are playing each other, Democrats and Republicans nationally, on a very local level, know who's running, know their track record, and why, and find out who's your judge, who's your prosecutor, who's your mayor, who's your governor, who are your county commissioners and city council people, and use those votes effectively. Well, Michael, why does it matter? You could probably get on the phone right now and say, I need 700 people to show up for me. So within a few phone calls, people call 10 people, 10 more people call 10 people, you put out some text and invites, you can get 700 to 1,000 people in any room you wanted to in your town. Mm-hmm. Well, Michael, what is the significance of 700 to 1,000 people? The electoral college is going to decide president, that's what you're going to say. But I'm not talking about president. I'm talking about local elections. We have a mayor named Keisha because 720 people more voted for her. The mayor that was prior to Keisha, who put together the land deal for Tyler Perry to have the largest studio in the Southeast and comparable and larger than studios out in L.A., who left the city with a $200 million surplus. Not a deficit. He left us $200 million to grow the city. Is a mayor named Christine Reed. He won by 702 votes.
Okay.
That's how important your vote is locally.
Yes, we definitely have to vote this Tuesday. Let me ask you, Mike, is there anyone you like, Trump or Biden, since Bernie Sanders isn't in?
I'm a policy person, not a personality person. I can like a lot of people that are not good people. Do you have a good deal for my people?
Okay.
What do you have for the black and working class community that will help us come up? So it doesn't matter if I like you. What does your policy say? Who has written policy and how does it affect black people? That's what concerns.
Wow. Well said. Killer Mike, a.k.a. Mike Render, a.k.a. Mr. Businessman, political activist, rapper, Run the Jewels, and bank CEO of Greenwood Bank. BankGreenwood.com is the website. Mike, if you see my name in that bank, add a couple of zeros to it, man.
I got you, Red. I appreciate you, man. Love, brother.
You too, man. Thanks for being on.
Okay, brother. Love and respect. Have a grand day.
Killer Mike.
Yeah, I like Killer Mike. He talking my talk.
Yes. BankGreenwood.com. Yes, the OWN network, Oprah Winfrey Network, reached out to us today.
Yeah, I talked to one of the reps from there.
Yes, earlier today. And tonight at 7 o'clock, you can be on a Zoom call with Oprah. And she's looking for women in Wisconsin. She wants you to be on and talk with her. You can RSVP right now at zoomwithoprah.com. So if you go to zoomwithoprah.com, they'll send you a link to get back.
So Oprah really going to be on there?
Oprah's going to be on there. She's going to have special guests, too.
Really?
She's going to have special guests.
Really?
Zoomwithoprah.com.
Now, look now. We know Oprah been to Milwaukee. She got family here.
She sure do. Hey, Alicia. What up, everybody out there? Pat's Ribs.
There you go. Shout out to Pat. Oh, they got some good ribs out there,
they got too. Some great ribs.
We need to get some Pat's Ribs. We need to get some Pat's Ribs. So everybody, make sure that you support this. This is a part of her Own Your Vote campaign, right?
Yes, it is.
So make sure that you check her out and you be a part of that. It's absolutely free, so you can RSVP right now at zoomwithoprah.com.
Yep, you'll be on. You can ask questions, too.
Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke to Oprah?
I have never spoken to Oprah, Reggie. Unlike yourself, I have never spoken with Oprah. I've never spoken, but shout out to Oprah.
Yes.
That's on my bucket list. So maybe one day Oprah will, roll through and shout it out. Pull up on a sister. You know what I mean?
How are you?
Yeah, I'd love that. Pull up on a sister.
Come hang out with me and Gail.
Hey, yeah, I love Gail too. Yes.
So zoomwithoprah.com, RSVP right now and be on and ask a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I might have to go do that because that might be the closest I get. But look, somebody that I actually got a chance to talk to was Senator Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Now, she is running with Joe Biden for Vice President of the United States, and she had a lot to say. And she had a lot to say to those of us here in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, thank you so much, Senator Harris, for joining us. Here's the thing. Right now, as I'm sure you're well aware, there's a whole barrage of ads and information out there, and people saying that this is the election of a lifetime. Everybody needs to get out and vote. There's so much at stake. What do you feel is at stake in this next election, including the COVID-19 situation the country is in? We need to know it all. What do you think?
We're looking at the fact that black folks are 3 times more likely to contract the virus, twice as likely to die from it. You look at the impact on small business, and so that's the health piece.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the impact on small businesses. In particular, minority-owned, black-owned businesses are dealing with the brunt of this. So many are having to close because there's not been the proper support. You look at what's happening in terms of education, and so many of our children who do not have the ability at home to take advantage of whatever remote learning they're supposed to do, and what this is going to mean in terms of long-term consequences. So these are just 3 areas I'll talk about, which is public health, the economy, and education. So on the issue of health, first of all, we're going to make sure that we expand Obamacare, which President Obama, together with Vice President Joe Biden, created that brought health coverage to over 20 million people that didn't have it and protected people with pre-existing conditions. Why is that important? Because we have higher rates of so many health conditions because there are still so many racial disparities around health in America. That things like diabetes and high blood pressure, before Obamacare, didn't necessarily get protected, and now they are. Joe Biden will keep it and expand it, bring down prescription drug prices, say that we need to bring down Medicare eligibility to age 60. Let's deal with also expanding health care to deal with mental health care, because you know what? Communities are experiencing trauma, and we need to stop doing health care as though the body just starts from the neck down. We need to also deal with health care from the neck up. So these are some of the things about health care. And dealing with something I've worked on my entire career in the Senate, which is black maternal mortality. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth. And a lot of that has to do with just racial bias in the system and what we need to do to also deal with the stressors that black women uniquely face. So these are some of the issues that we will address. Let's deal with the economy. One of the big issues that has been so hard for our small black businesses is access to capital. Joe and I will put $150 billion with a B dollars into low interest and loans and access to capital with a focus on minority businesses, because we don't lack for talent, we don't lack for innovation, we don't lack for good ideas, but we do lack for access to capital, and we need to change that, because the reality is that the disparity on black wealth is such that black families own 1/10 of the wealth of white families. We need to deal with that. Let's deal with public education. So many of our children in Milwaukee and Wisconsin, throughout the country, are in Title I schools, right? Which are schools that are in communities that have a low tax base. And Joe and I will triple 3 times the funding for Title.
Girl, you preach it.
You hear me? And triple the funding for Title I schools, because we need to get our teachers and the schools the resources they need to nurture and to educate our beautiful children who have the capacity to go on and lead the country and the world. But we need to put the resources into their big brains.
There you go.
To let them reach that capacity.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right, and that means go vote.
Yeah, that means absolutely go vote.
She's something else. Thank you very much, Senator, for being on.
Yeah, she's amazing. She is amazing.
Yes, we want to thank all of our guests. Thank you so much, Miss Claire Woodall-Vogg, the Executive Director of the Milwaukee Election Commission.
We want to thank Stacey Abrams for coming out.
Yes.
Fair Fight, with Fair Fight. That's her voting organization.
Yes, and big shout out to my man, Killer Michael Render from Run the Jewels. He's a half of Run the Jewels. He's a businessman. BankGreenwood.com is his website. Greenwood Bank
And he also Killer Mike also has a reality show.
Oh, yeah, he sure does, too. Yeah. He has a lot going on.
He does have a lot going on, but he always has great information, always very knowledgeable.
Yes. Don't forget, zoomwithoprah.com, RSVP for Oprah at 7 o'clock. She's going to be on at 7 o'clock, so chime in.
Make sure you get out and vote. You need information on voting or you want to rehear this program, make sure you check out our website, V100.com. And we also have one more person to thank.
Yes, we do. Thank you. Oh, we got some money to give away too, right?
We got some money to give away, but we got to thank President Obama. Yes. Run that one more time, Reg.
Yes. Let's get it right here on V100.7.
Hello, Milwaukee. This is President Barack Obama urging each of you to get out and vote on Election Day. This year's elections are too important to sit out or stay on the sideline. This election isn't about one vote or one party, it's about your future. Time to get out there and shape it and fight for it. If you do, then together we can continue to move our country forward. So go to the poll, cast your ballot. You can make a real impact.
Our V100 voting special is brought to you by the Dunk Law Firm. Shout out to Orville Dunk, his team. They will get you the compensation you deserve. Go to them. SlamDunkLawyer.com, Bailey.
I like that. SlamDunkLawyer.com. That's where you need to go. Dunk Law Offices. Yes.
That's right. Let's win some money right now on V100.7.
Just want to get paid like that. Here's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword HOPE to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's HOPE to 200-200.
This is V100.7.
It's the hottest DJ on the streets.
Yo, I'm on fire!
DJ O on V100.7, Milwaukee's only hip-hop and R&B.